It's Nick and Mike's top 100 games. But does anyone care what they have to say? I know I don't. Cause they may dab, they might scream, they may say some things that are plain wrong.
Dab on it, dab on it.
But they are dumb bing bongs.
My teacher's better.
We're back. This water
Wait!
still cold.
Get it in the shot, Nick!
It's in the shot.
You want $5 or not? Huh?
We're not gonna get $5.
No, we're not. Welcome, everybody. I'm Mike.
I'm Nick of the Coldest
This
Water.
is the Coldest
brand
Water.
ambassador.
We are the Brothers Murph, and it's time for another segment of our top 100 games of all time, sponsored by the Coldest Water. They don't know that they're sponsoring that. They just think that they're sponsoring some videos. But we made it this.
We made it this
Because
we're
we got
ridiculous.
$50 coming our direction, maybe. Possibly, probably less than
Probably
that.
not, probably
Split
not.
2 ways.
I'm
Let's
sure.
go. Probably taxed at like 80%.
Oh
Forget
yeah,
about it.
Hashtag worth it.
We have been working through our top 100 games of all time. We've ranked all the games that we know of and can think of that we think might be in our top 100 games of all time, of all things we played.
Yeah.
And we have put them together into an order. We are into our fourth segment now. We're going from 70 to 61 today.
Ooh, yep. The 60s.
Talking about which games we enjoy playing the most out of all of the games that we played and know of.
I enjoy cold water the most.
You do?
Yeah.
Hydration's important.
Gosh, it's great.
They should make a game about water. All about water. The coldest water. They already won. Nick always gotta make it creepy. You kiss a lot of inanimate objects.
I do.
It's your thing.
It is weird. Yeah,
It's very weird.
man, it's the worst thing I can do. I could put a lot more inanimate objects in me.
With
various orifices.
that, we should get into our top 70 to 61, starting with Nick's number 70.
70.
My number 70 was mentioned by Mike at some point during one of the last few
Really?
lists, and that is Codenames Do It!
Oh, yeah.
So this is a 2-player only cooperative version of Codenames.
Yeah.
It's really by far my favorite version of Codenames.
It's the best.
I like it a lot. Yeah, so it's a co-op version where you have 15 words you're trying to, whatever. A certain amount of words you're trying to get. We each have, 6?
We should have 9.
9, and then there's 3 crossovers.
No, 6. Yeah, there's 6 individual, 3 crossover, so we each have 9 clues, but it makes 15 total.
So it is 15 total. That's what it is. Yeah. So it's 15 words you're trying to get each other to guess. And same as Codenames, you're given a one, or we flub the rules a little bit with that. And just sometimes we'll give formal names like George Washington or something like that. You give like 1-word clues, and they have to guess how, and you say 1-word clue and then how many words it pertains to, and then they guess from there. Same thing, but it just really shines because you get to just get deep in with someone and really try to get on the same wavelength there. And it's really, really fun. I like Codenames. If you like Codenames, and you haven't tried Codenames Do It, really, really try it. Especially if you have like a spouse or a brother or a sister or a really good friend you know really well.
Yeah.
You have the same reference points. It's really, really fun. You can pull out some really weird stuff where you're just like, they're just like this one. You're like, yes, we get each other. Yeah.
It's awesome. My number 70 is a solo game. You can play a game with someone else. You can just play by your damn self, nerd. Yeah, and this is called Friday. It's a game where you are helping out Robinson Crusoe, helping him to survive because he ain't very
I
smart.
don't think I've ever actually played Friday.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I know.
It's
I
so
should
good.
try it. I just haven't played it.
It's a solo card game where you're going to be getting a challenge essentially to overcome, and you're going to be flipping over cards from your deck that will sometimes give you positive results or negative results or neutral. And you will be getting all sorts of powers from these cards. And basically, when the challenge gets brought up, it's the number you're supposed to hit. You're supposed to hit 3, total 3 successes, we'll call it. You can only draw 2 cards per se that are for free. So if I draw 2 cards, I'm not quite at 3 successes. What I could do is I could spend 1 life to draw another card and maybe try to go for that. Or I could spend another life to try to draw another card. And if I overcome the challenge, the nice thing is that it goes away out of the deck, and then it becomes a card that I can use because it gets flipped 180, and now it's a new card that has better abilities or has more successes on it. So it's all about kind of building up this deck of cards, this deck builder in its way, to overcome these challenges. And once you go through the deck, and then it goes to like the tier 2 challenges.
Yeah.
So the same cards come through, but they're harder now. And then they come through again, they're even harder still. And then you have kind of an end encounter with some pirates to hopefully win the game. It's very difficult, a very fun solo game because it comes down to like, how much am I willing to dig in and keep drawing cards to try to beat this challenge, knowing that I have to give up life every time I do that? And if I ever run out of life, I lose. It's just a really fun challenge. It's really hard. I really enjoy it. It's got a fun app, and it's even better in person. So it's a great solo game.
I gotta try it. We've had it for
I'd
years.
recommend
I
it.
just I haven't tried. I don't know why I haven't tried it. I just haven't tried it.
Good.
Yeah.
It's my number 70.
All right, number 7. Let's get number 69.
Hilarious.
69.
I just want coffee, but I don't want to upset people.
But they don't upset the sponsors. Coldest water bottle.
H2 Java.
H2 Jav. Number 69 for me is a great re-implementation of a game that is good, and that is Sushi Roll.
Oh,
Is my 69. Sushi Roll is a kind of a dice version, essentially, of the game Sushi Go or Sushi
game.
Go Party. It's a drafting game. And we both like Sushi Roll quite a bit more than Sushi Go or Sushi Go Party.
Nothing against Sushi Go.
No, not
Those
at all.
great games too. Sushi Roll is
It's easier to teach new people.
Yeah.
It's easier to get people into it. The drafting is just much, much easier for new gamers to grok. And so it just works well. The dice are very chunky. They're very good looking. The game is simple. And again, it's just drafting different kinds of sushi. It's wonderful. And we love Sushi Go. But once we tried Sushi Roll, we're like, boom, this is it. This is it for us. It doesn't have nearly as much variety as
That's
Sushi
the
Go.
one
And
knock.
I will give it that.
Yeah.
But like, I'm okay with that. Because we're almost always playing with new people, and we're not going to bring in those other more complicated versions anyway.
Because with an established game group we have, we're not going to be playing Sushi Go
No.
games. So it's just like, well, this serves the purpose that it should.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it on the easy side.
Yeah, just
and the
keep
dice
it.
make it even easier still.
Yeah, it's great. Sushi Roll is wonderful. I love it, and I like it a lot more than Sushi Go. And hey, maybe someday they'll come out with an expansion for Sushi Roll, which is basically just the other stuff. And like, we'll probably get that because I would like to have that other stuff, but it's just not necessary ultimately. I love Sushi Roll though.
Love it. Right on. That's number 69 for you. For number 69 for me is Hanamakoji.
Ooh, okay.
2-player card game, very tactical, where you have a number of geisha and you're trying to get them to come perform at your restaurant. The way you do that is you play more of the matching geisha card on your side than your opponent does. So there's some that are worth 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then they will each have 2, 3, 4, or 5 matching cards based on their value. And you have 4 actions that you and your opponent will both do. You can choose the order in which you do those actions, but you both will carry out all 4 actions. At one point, you're going to like ferret away a card for later. Another time, you're going to discard 2 cards. Another time, I'm going to present 3 cards to my opponent. They will choose 1. I get the other 2. And then there's an I split you choose, where I'll make 2 pairs of cards. They will get the first pair. I will get the other pair. So that's just the whole game right there, is you're trying to basically deny your opponent anything they want. So you're trying to deduce, like, what cards do they have? What are they trying to do on their side? So that when I do those actions where I have to offer up, my opponent gets first pick, I'm trying to make sure that I'm not giving them anything that's super valuable for them, so that no matter what they take, I sort of come out ahead. So it's very tactical in that way, with really nice art, and I like it a lot. We've talked a lot about it over the years. Hanamakoji is great. Check it out.
Yeah, this one, this is no longer on my list.
Okay.
Which
we have played it so much that
I think
it's sort of on its way out in that we played it.
That's there's a couple games like that
at
have
all.
dropped a lot or are off the list because I'm just like, I've played a lot of Hanamakoji, still so happy to play it.
Yeah.
But it's just
But
not
you
my
just-
top anymore. Yeah, because
that's fine.
I've kind of played it out a little bit. But
I think that's
ultimately,
natural.
Yeah.
You know, it got played out because it's really good. So
Yeah,
there you
exactly.
go. But still on my list, number 69, Hanamakoji.
Coldest Water, 68. All right, my number 68 is a game that I love. Yeah, I like it a lot, and it's Rum and Bones. I feel like there was gonna be a but in there, or
But it's crap, so it's
yeah,
gone.
but there wasn't. I like Rum and Bones a lot. Rum and Bones is a
Don't apologize for that.
2-player, could be more, but
Don't you
really
dare
ultimately
apologize for
2-player. No, I'm not gonna apologize for
Don't
that.
apologize
I'm not gonna apologize for that. No, I'm not gonna
that's
apologize
okay.
for anything.
Okay.
And so it's a 2-player pirate game, kind of Pirates of the Caribbean-esque, but it's like based off like a MOBA game where you have like your troops that are very much like your grunts, your crewmen in this, and they're basically just they go in a straight line, just forward, and then you have 5 heroes that you can do, and they have special powers. They do stuff. There's like a swashbuckler, there's like a gunner, there's your captain, there's your brute, that kind of stuff, and there's like. And they all have special abilities that they do, and they're the ones who are like jumping from ship to ship and attacking each other. And essentially, you're trying to score a certain amount of points. You get points by eliminating each other's
Busting
heroes,
up their other ship.
and then busting up their ship by destroying objectives like their mast, their wheel, their armory, that kind of stuff.
I'll take your wheel.
Yeah, I take your wheel, which is, they're all Italian. And so it's really, really fun, though. I really, really like it. This is a game that, like, all the factions are different. They have different stuff they kind of do. And then all the different heroes all have different stuff that they
really
do.
Cool, fun abilities.
Yeah, and it's like, I like that a lot. And this is one of the ones where it's like, if I could find factions of this for, like, cheap somewhere, I'd probably pick them up. Because, like, I like just playing the different boats, the different factions and stuff. We got the Kickstarter for this, so we have a lot of the extra stuff, which is great. And it's one of those things, like, we don't play it super, super often. Whenever we do, I'm always like, man, I love this game. And it's one of those games where I'm like, again, we don't have very many minis games, but this is one of the ones we do have. I'm like, okay, cool. This is kind of our mini game, and this is one of the few that we have, and they'll probably keep for a while because I really like it a lot.
That's awesome. My number 68 is a game that you mentioned before. It's kind of a Civ-themed game called Hentes.
Oh, really?
Gents.
See, I figured this wouldn't be on your list. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because we played it recently that it popped back up there. I don't know if it'll ever ascend much higher than it is right now, but it's definitely a good game. Nick mentioned that it's cool because you're taking tiles to take actions. There's tiles among the board, and if the tile's available, you can take that action. But usually you will have to take that and put it into your board, which will take up time, and there's often an additional time costs. And once you run out of time, your round is done. So it's about how do you spend your time, and then a lot of times there's money costs on top of that as well. And you're basically putting out some buildings to get some resources and things, and the main goal is to play these cards out. So they're going to rely on these different 6 populations and where you are with them, and they kind of push each other around and stuff like that. They'll allow you to play cards. Sometimes you need to have a building out to also be able to play that card. That's going to be your main avenue to points. Those might give you straight up points when you play them. They might give you extra action spaces that only you can do. They might give you passive abilities that happen at the end of every round. Whole bunch of stuff. And it really comes out to how you play those cards, where you put your focus, and everything else kind of facilitates getting the money and stuff you need in order to play those cards. You get the populations where you are. So it's an interesting Euro. I really enjoy it quite a bit. We don't play it very often, but I think it's solid.
It's great.
Really solid.
It's really great.
It's a game that kind of scratches a lot of the itches that we like in board games.
Yeah, but it still feels like its own thing,
Yeah, it's like really when you're thirsty, nice sip of cold water. That's what it feels like. That's number 68 for us. Hentes.
67.
67.
Alrighty, my number 67 is another Reiner Knizia game, and this is The Quest for El Dorado.
Oh, yeah, nice. Good pick.
We played this the first time with our good friend Crookie Brookie at our local con called Strategicon, and it's a great racing game where essentially you have these kind of like they're big honking tiles, these big hexagonal tiles, have a bunch of different little hexes all over them. And the hexes are either like jungle, they're like markets, they're gray,
water,
or they're water, basically. And you have your little explorer or 2 explorers. We're playing a 2-player game, and it's deck building. You're playing cards, and you're moving your way, hopefully out to El Dorado, which will be at the end of this labyrinth of different hex tiles. And the hex tiles can set up in all different ways, all these different ways. And so if you play like a jungle card, you basically can hack through the jungle. Yeah, and you can go straight through the tiles, which is the quickest way, but the jungle or the water or whatever is really dense right there. So it's one of the things, you have to have certain cards that can actually go through that area, or you're going to have to go around. Yeah, and so you're deck building, and then you can buy new cards, and the cards are better versions. And it's got this really cool market where there's only 3 of each card. So once this card is gone, then there's a whole slew of options up here, and then you get to bring down another set of cards, essentially, which is really, really cool. So depending on the game, you might not have certain cards might not ever come out because people don't choose to bring them into the market.
Right.
And it's just a race. And this is one of those games where it always feels like someone gets way far out in the beginning, and then they inevitably slow down. Yeah. It always comes down to
No one's ever out. Never.
It's really, really fun. And it's great at 2-player. You have 2 explorers, but you need to get both your explorers there. So, and then it scales really well. There's a whole bunch of different cards. And then again, you can set up the map in all these different ways. It's just great. I love Quest for El Dorado. Great little deck builder. Good little entrance to deck building, I would say. And a good little racing game. I like Quest for El Dorado a lot, and that's why it's my 67.
Nice. My 67 is one of my entries to this list where I try to offend Nick.
Yes.
It's been a theme. My number 67 is Rococo.
No, I hear that.
Okay. I got another in my back pocket.
No, it's fine.
I am
not surprised.
I got one that's for sure.
I think I like Rococo more than you. And I'm not surprised it's this low. Don't get me wrong. you should be ashamed of yourself.
am.
But
Rococo is a game where you are helping people get ready for a fancy ball.
Yeah.
You're basically trying to make your mark known. You're trying to touch every piece of this fancy ball that's coming up, and you use it through cards. It's another kind of mini deck building game.
yeah,
Where you're going to play 3 cards in a round, and that's going to have a certain level of worker that can open up action spaces for you to go to. And you're going to be getting materials to make dresses and jackets and things. You can basically build statues. You can hire musicians for this party. And they're going to go into different areas of the main central board. There's all these different rooms, essentially, that the party is taking place in this giant house. So at the end of the game, you hope to have more of your stuff in each room than anyone else. You want to have people that are wearing your clothes that you designed. They want to be listening to the music from the musician you hired.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like an area influencer majority for all of the different rooms. And the whole game is about that. It's about playing these cards, hiring new, better workers to then use to make a fancy ass party.
yeah, basically.
That's really it.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
really
great.
cool game. I really enjoy it. For the longest time, it wasn't really widely available. It's now back, which is great. I think it's a theme and a game that should absolutely, people should have more access to. So I'm super stoked. And I love it. I mean, it's a classic for us. We've had it for some time. We've been interested in it for even longer.
Yeah.
And it's my 67.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
That's it.
that's fine. Yeah, that's
That's
67's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I was expecting to be in your top 10. Yeah, it's like 67's
Not
good.
bad.
They're like, oh, it's in the 60s. It's so bad. It's like, it's not.
Not really.
We played hundreds of, this year alone, we've played hundreds of games.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
It's pretty good.
you know, come
Pretty
on.
good company to be in.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's 67, huh?
Yep.
66, almost one more 6, and then we got Satan.
Yo.
$66.
How's that not
It's too hot,
refreshing?
Nick.
Not refreshing at
It's
all?
not cold enough.
Gosh.
And it's made of water, but it's been tainted by beans.
Beans. It's called bean juice. That's what coffee is, people. Bean juice.
Branding is so important.
Dude,
when you think
right?
about it.
Gosh, man.
The first person to say it's coffee. I was like, you are a genius.
It's like Lewis Blackman's joke about that. He's like, it's not soy milk, it's soy juice.
Yeah.
Because the problem is when you say soy juice, you actually start to gag. It's like, it's so true. My number 66 is a new game. I think it's new. It's definitely new to us. And this is a really, really cool take on roll and writes. And this is Sonora by Panasaurus Game, which is a flick and write.
This is another one that I forgot to add to my list.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
really good game.
Sonora kept climbing for me. I really like Sonora. We
So
just got to
fun.
play this somewhat recently, but we've played it a ton in that time. But this is a flick and write where you have a board where you're flicking your discs onto. You have discs number 1 through 5, and you're flicking it into these 4 regions. And then at the end of the flicking phase, where everyone's done flicking, you basically look at the regions. And then on your player mat, which is your roll and write part, you have the 4 different regions that are on the main board, and the 4 different regions score in all these different ways. So one's like a creek bed, and you're basically trying to make your way down the creek bed.
Yep.
This one over here is nodes that you're trying to cross off so you can surround cacti. This one up here is kind of like a polyomino tile drawing thing. And this one over here, you're just marking off spaces trying to gain like majorities essentially. And then, so how it is in the one where you're just kind of marking off spaces, if I flicked my 5 and then my 2 disc in there, I would get to mark off 7 spots on this one. And it's a race. There's this big cluster of like 20 of them. If I mark off those 20 before Mike can, I get a higher score. He can do it too, but he'll get a lower score.
Yeah.
So that one's like a race. The polyomino one, you're trying to draw.
It's like crosswords and stuff.
It's kind of
You
like
went through them.
crosswords and stuff. And then if you have another one where you go down the creek bed, if I threw my 3 in there, I get to go down 3 spots in here and trying to gain
All
points.
sorts of combos.
So you're essentially doing 4 little mini games that are all based off where you flick your discs. And it's like, if you want to take a roll and write, which is that, where it's like, depending on what you get, you have to fill in stuff or cross off stuff or whatever. But what a cool idea to have the way to decide what you get to do through flicking instead of dice rolls or card flips. I'm like, what a brilliant idea. And it works and it's fun because you have some skill. You're like, oh, I need to do this part. So I'm going to try and flick this one over there. And you just like flick it too hard or too soft. And you got to like try to knock it in there with something else or something like that.
It's like not like the end of the world if you don't make it, because you can use it in some other area.
Yeah, and
you
it's
know?
very combo-y. If it's a thing you've noticed throughout this list, we love very, very combo-tastic games, especially roll and
It's
rides.
just instant fun.
It's instant fun. It's instant
I don't know why
fun.
they were just easily
Yeah,
used.
Sonora, it's great. It's also gorgeous. It's wonderful.
it's
I
nice.
love
It's really
Sonora.
nice.
Sonora's my number 66. Mike, what's your Satan pick?
My 66, my Satan pick, something gonna make you upset. You know why? It makes sense as a Satan pick because it's about you being an a-hole. It's Prodigal's Club.
Oh, false. False.
See, I knew that one. You take issue with that
It's
one.
one of the greatest games ever made.
It is. It is one of the 100
No, this
greatest
is
games
garbage.
ever made.
Where you are is garbage. You're in garbage town. It's like garbage minutes
That
in
makes sense
basketball where they
thematically.
throw out all the rookies because they're like, whatever, this game doesn't matter anymore. That's where you are in your list.
The Prodigals Club is a game where you are going to be trying to do 3 things.
This thing, Mike, when you have hot rage inside your heart, you know what cools it down? The cold
So that's right. You need to drink some of that and chill yourself out. Here's the thing. It's a great game. Probably if we played it more, it'd be higher. It doesn't get played often.
Keep digging this hole, baby.
So in this game, you're going to try to do 3 things. 1, you're going to try to lose all of your money. You're going to try to sell all of your worldly possessions. In the other section, you're going to try to lose all of your friends and basically ruin your standing in social circles.
Yep.
And then you're also going to try to lose an election. You're
Hilarious.
actively trying to lose an election and get the hell out of office. So you're trying to do all 3 of those things. And this is a game where at the end of the game, whatever score you have in the 3 sections that is the best, that is your score. And you want that score to be bad.
Yes.
So it's just
You
great.
want no votes, you want no friend and no money.
Ideally, you have zeros across the board or even negatives would be great. And that's what's so fun about the game is like just the reverseness of it. How thematically it's incredibly fun because you're offending your grandma in public and stuff. You're getting drunk in a park.
You're causing a scene at dinner. Yeah.
You're selling stuff for like just a bad deal. You're just not
buying high, selling low.
Buying high, selling low. And so it's just a brilliant game. Like it's one of the most innovative ideas. It's kind of a sequel to Last Will, which is the same thing, except for it's kind of all the money part of it all. It's just fantastic. It really is great. It just isn't higher because it's never going to be a game we can play that often. No. Because it is heavy. It's very heavy, difficult. Yeah. It's one of those like dungeon pets where it's buoyed by its theme.
Yes.
But in this one in particular, Prodigals Club is not an easy game.
No. And
you play like 5 rounds and you're trying to do all this stuff. It's very hard to do.
Yes.
But it's buoyed by its like funness.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah.
So I really like it. It's not knocking off.
No, I know. I like this game a lot more than you. I'm very
but it's really fantastic.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
So that's my 66. My Satan pick.
All right, Satan pick. Let's get back into the Word of the Lord with 65.
64.
You know what the Lord loves, Mike?
What?
Getting drunk.
Yeah.
Huh? Probably. He's got. What is he doing up there? He's hanging out.
Chilling.
You're creating the world, man. Yeah, dude. My number 65 is Taverns of Tiefenthal.
Really?
Yeah.
I am surprised.
Do you think it's not going to be on my list at all?
I was wondering. Just because you've had a few negative plays.
I have.
You like it, but you have made this point. You made this point in a past episode about how it needs an expansion.
Yeah.
So I was curious if it slipped.
Here's the thing. I do really, really like it. I like it because when I was doing my list, it kept rising and it kept going against other stuff. And I kept being like, no, I like Taverns more. No, I like Taverns more. And it kind of kept going up and up and up. And I was just like, okay. And I think if it doesn't get an expansion, I think it will drop off the list or go down. But as of right now, this is where it is. I really like this game. I love just all the different modules that are in it, all these little things you're doing. I like the deck building, the kind of push your luck aspect that deck building generally has. I love the upgrading your bar and trying to like
seats,
figure out what
people.
Yeah, it's a fun thing that sometimes you can't just get. In any card game, you can draw horribly. Oh, yeah. And that's the problem with any card game is sometimes Mike might draw amazingly. I draw horribly. There's no way I can win that game.
Yeah.
And that's happened a couple times, but that's literally any deck builder, really. So it's like, to me, that's not really that much of a knock on the game. And I do really, really like this game quite a bit.
Cool.
And it's just, I love the theme. I love the way it works. I don't know. I really, really like it. We'll see. Again, there's a snapshot in time. Tomorrow, I might feel way differently. But as of right now, I did my list.
Your opinions are your own, man.
It was 65. I like it a lot.
Yeah. Right. I like it, man. Respect. My number 65 is a game. It's another one similar to Prodigals Club where it's just hard to get played often. It's a bummer because I really, really like it. And it is Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Yeah.
It's my 65. It is...
It's hard to get played.
Mashup game because it's like Between Two Cities, which is a Stonemaier game, as is this one, where you are trying to build 2 cities between your partner to your right, or your opponent rather, and your opponent to your left. Now this does that, but puts all the theming of the Castles of Mad King Ludwig on it, where now I'm building 2 castles, one with my opponent to my right,
real weird.
one with my opponent to the left, and you're doing all sorts of things because the different types of rooms want different things. They want to be adjacent to certain things. They want to be on top or above other types of rooms. They want to be off on their own. There's all sorts of scoring opportunities based off these tiles. And what you do is you're going to choose 2 tiles on a turn. You're going to choose one that's going to be played over here, one's going to be played over here. You flip them over. You talk to your partner on the right. Okay, I think we should put this here, this here. Talk to your partner on the left. Put this over here, put this over here. Because at the end of the game, you're going to score the weaker of your 2 castles. So ideally, you want them to be equally good. You can't just tank one and make the other great.
It's really like 2 co-op games in a competitive game.
Which is so interesting.
It's so weird, yeah.
Yeah, and they work it really well in between 2 cities. And I think the theming of the Castles of Mad King Ludwig works really well. And it's super fast. And so it's essentially a drafting game. So you're going to play 2 tiles and pass your stacks to the left, grab a new stack from the right, and then you're going to play those tiles. And you're kind of doing this working with 2 different groups of people at once. It just does a lot of really interesting things. I really enjoy it. I think it's slick. I think the scoring, there's so many interesting scoring opportunities. I think Between Two Castles is great.
Yeah.
I would love to play it more. It's tough because it's 3 to 7.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to play it like 4 or 5 people.
The good thing about it, which is nice, so the more people you have doesn't necessarily elongate the game that much because it's always just whoever's here, whoever's here.
Brains and speeds,
for sure,
but you're only ever working on 2
Yeah,
castles.
it's like 7 wonders in that way.
Yeah.
All right, so that's number 65. Between Two Castles, good choice. Let's go on and get into number 64, not 4. Jumping to 4.
Same.
Oh, 64.
This is the 10 where I'm making mad.
Really?
Just saying, this is the 10 that you'll see a lot of my games later in this series.
Really? Okay.
That's all I'll say.
I don't think we're going to have any crossover on 64 because my number 64 is Adventureland, which I can't imagine is on your list.
It is not.
Yeah. Adventureland is a Hobbit game in their kind of family game weight line, which is a really great line of games. If you have not checked it out.
Yep.
Adventureland's a really, really fun game that's very, very unique in the fact that it works on a grid, but basically you're each going to have like 10 people, like explorers, adventurers, I guess. And they're all going to start on the very top left of the board. So 5 and then 5. And then your workers on your turn, they can either move south or east. South or
Head
right.
south for many miles, then go right.
For, I don't know, a couple furlongs, So you basically
then
go
back
south
to the west.
You go south and east, and that's it. So
That's already going.
once your person's down here, they can't ever go left or up again. They can only go down and to the right. And so you're basically trying to move, you're trying to work your people because you can move anybody on your turn. You can move any of your people, but again, they can only go right or down. And so you're basically trying to have them stop on different stuff because each turn there's more stuff coming out onto the board. So there's going to be now swords out here on like G9 or something like that. So you don't want to put everyone down.
Kind of want to hold back a little.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going to come out when. And there's monsters on the board that you go and fight and stuff like that. You turn in swords, you roll dice. You can go get gold in the river. You can pick up herbs and stuff like that. There's a bunch of little stuff. But the cool thing is, again, it's just you just always going down to the right. So it's this balance of trying to not move your people too far down or too far to the right because they can never go back. Yeah. And it's a really, really fun balancing act. There's also 3 different ways to play it. Yeah, there's an really expansion, cool. Which unfortunately isn't available. It makes it co-op, which I would love to try if we can get our hands on it someday. But I really, really like Adventureland. It's a game that's gotten completely under. Here's the thing: Hobbit usually sells it for really cheap because it didn't sell very well, I don't think. And so pick it up because you can usually find it for cheap.
It's one of those games that they're usually just giving it away, and it would be a come up. You'd be like, wow, it's great. This was a good value because you can get it for cheap.
I really like Adventureland. Super unique game. Great. Production's great because it's Hobbit. Great wood bits. It's awesome. Yeah, I like it a lot.
My 64 is the Networks. How you doing? You okay?
Wow.
You okay?
This is your wanted career.
I mean, I failed. That's why I'm angry and bitter.
You didn't fail.
I didn't fail. I shifted.
Yes.
You only ever fail upwards.
No, I'm surprised. I knew mine was going to be a lot higher. I'm surprised it's this low, but
the Networks, I am too, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I was making this this list and stuff, you're seeing 2 options at a time, and so the Networks ended up here at 64, which I was a little surprised by, to be honest. This is a great game where you are running a TV station and you are trying to get the best kind of programming in the right time slots. It's all primetime, 8, 9, and 10 o'clock. And you're trying to attach stars and ads to get money and get viewers, and the viewers are your points. So it's all about balancing your budget and stuff because a lot of the best shows have a lot of upkeep. Every round you have to pay more money for those shows, or the best stars have upkeep and stuff like that. And at the coolest bit is at the end of every season, every round, your shows will age. They'll go into season 2 or season 3, or if it's a new show, maybe it'll be in season 4 and it's fallen off completely. Because usually the first season of a show is good. The second season's usually great.
Yeah.
Then the third season might be okay. Fourth season might be worse. They're all different and stuff. But generally, the older shows eventually have kind of run their course and they're not getting as many viewers. So you're going to be swapping out older shows to bring in the new hot thing. And there's a bit of set collection in that you can have genres of shows. If you have a bunch of sports shows, you can get bonuses that way, or sci-fi or action or drama. And it's really cool and it's really fun because every title of the show is a spoof of a real life show. Yeah. There's a lot of actors and actresses that you're like, oh, this is clearly based off of Charlie Sheen or this person. And so it's incredibly fun. Really fun. The network's executive expansion is like one of the best expansions out there. It gives you really fun variable player powers. There's even the network's Rivals, which is a 2-player version of the networks, which is really cool. It's a really great game. I highly recommend it. Yeah, it's great. It's on my list. Hey,
it should be higher, but it's good.
Probably should be. Probably see it on his list eventually.
A little higher. Alrighty, I guess that's 64.
Yes.
Getting 63, fam.
63.
My number 63 is a game that is probably a bit buoyed right now because of the time of year. Because my 63 is Gingerbread House.
Dude!
Yo, really? Don't crossover?
I knew it. Before
Yes!
you said anything, I was like, I don't know what made me think that. I was like, your 63 is going to be Gingerbread House.
Dude, really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm hyped.
I almost, when you started, I almost just said, praise be, because I could sense it. That's amazing. That is not staged. That is real.
Wow. I was wondering if I didn't think that was going to happen.
I just had
it's
a
just so hard.
I don't know why. I was like, you're random out of nowhere. I was like, you're going to say Gingerbread House right now.
Dang.
That's mine might not be my 63.
Yeah, Gingerbread House is my 63. It's a great game.
So awesome.
That's rad.
That's so great.
It's a tile laying game where you have these kind of domino type tiles where they have one thing on either side. You're basically placing them in a 3x3 grid, building up a little gingerbread house. And basically whatever you cover up, you get. So basically you put a tile here, you can cover up, you're getting different kinds of frosting. Those frostings you basically will capture fairy tale creatures. Fairy creatures keep coming and eating your house, and so you have to capture them. We assume you kill them. And so you're capturing them, they're worth a certain amount of points. But this game, like a lot of games, has a lot of good combos to it. You get this, you can get this, you can put this down, that means you can do this, now you can capture another person. It's very, very cool. It's great, and I'm pumped that we had a double crossover.
That's so cool. Yeah, I agree. It's a fantastic game. It's really fun. We love playing it during the holidays. It's just, it's Phil Walker Harding right in his wheelhouse.
Yes.
Accessible, fun, pulling off some combos. You're covering stuff up with tiles. I mean, it's very much a Phil Walker Harding game. And I love the art style and all the fairy tale creatures, and it just makes me feel cozy.
Yep.
It's my 63 as well. I knew it. I don't know why.
It's amazing.
I'm so blown away by that. I've always thought I'm a little bit psychic, just this much.
Only this much. Cat Lee right here.
Only about very trivial things. That's the thing about it.
Yes.
But that's my power. Gingerbread House is our 63. So much. So awesome. Let's do it again in 62. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again.
Guaranteed to not be happening.
I promise you we're doing it.
62.
Not to happen because my 62 is High Society, which was your 99 or something like that.
My 100.
100, yeah. So definitely not a crossover again. But High Society is another Brian Canizia game. This is, as Mike talked about, is a nice little bidding game, auctioning game where you have some kind of fancy thing. Everyone has the same amount of francs in different denominations.
Getting some horse dancing.
Yeah, a little bit, you're going to haberdashery or whatever. And basically you're bidding on stuff. Whoever bids the most money gets that thing, gets that amount of points. And the thing is, at the end of the game, whoever spent the most money loses automatically. So if you got all the points, but you spent all the money,
doesn't matter.
You're done. So you basically need to get as many points as you possibly can with trying to also not be the one who spends the most money, which is a great mechanic. Super simple auction game. It's about this big. It's great. Check it out. There's not much else to say. It's incredible as a small filler auction game. Get High Society. It's wonderful.
Bam. It's got nice new art now, meaning not that new, but it did get an upgrade a while back, and now it looks really nice.
Oh, it's good.
So my number 62 is Legendary, a Marvel deck building game. Classic deck builder for us.
Legendary went all the way off my list.
Nice. It's been dropping off. We don't play it very often anymore.
This is a game we played.
We played so much.
It's 107 for me.
Okay, it's one of our very most played games. It's a deck building game with all of your favorite Marvel heroes. It's really awesome, obviously, because you can play as Wolverine and Captain America and Captain Marvel and Captain Britain, because they've
Everyone
gone
at this
all over the place, all the captains. You are going to be choosing 5, or I think in a 5-player game, you'll choose 6 heroes to mash up to make your team. And then you're going to be able to, on a turn in some cards to fight baddies that are going to be entering into the street. You're ultimately trying to defeat the baddies. And then the mastermind, Magneto's running everything or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be recruiting heroes. You're going to be recruiting a blend of whatever 5 or 6 heroes you choose. And there's a ton of expansions for the game, which means you have just like a bajillion literally combinations of like people you can have, both good and then bad sometimes. And so it's just really fun because it's like, what would this team of superheroes, if they came together, which like a lot of times comics will do.
Yes, of course.
Like, oh, now these people are teamed up. How would Deadpool do with all these people? And you can put together that team and then fight a mastermind and a mix of henchmen and villains and stuff. It's super fun. It's dropped down or off of Nick's list just simply because we've played it for years so many times.
Yes.
And it's another one that's like a beautiful problem to have, where it's sort of shifting down its list because like we've enjoyed the heck out of it, and it's sort of like a fond memory at this point.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, how great is that?
Still down to play it.
If someone's like, if someone's like, "Come on, you want to play Legendary?" I'm like, "Yes, I do."
Yeah, I played it not too long ago, and it's still outstanding. But it's just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, we played this game multiple times a week for like a year. Yeah, it's
many times.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
so
great.
That's my 62.
All right, last one on the list. We're cruising this one to go get into 61.
Let's do it.
61.
Whew. All right, last one on this list. This one I can tell you right now, unless something happens and I start hating it, this one is going to be higher. Next time we do this list, we don't have the game yet, and we haven't played it too much, but this is Lost Ruins of Arnok.
Yeah, I was saying, so Lost Ruins of Arnok.
Lost Ruins of Arnok. This also came out just at Essen.
It's real good.
We played it a bunch of times in the time that we had it. We don't have it anymore because it was a prototype sent to us by...
wasn't even finished, and I don't care.
Yeah, we had to send it off to the next person. We will be getting a copy of it.
3D printed bits.
Hopefully soon. But Lost Ruins of Arnok is a new game by CGE, who's quickly becoming, and it has been for a while, but really
strong.
One of my favorite publishers is CGE. And this is a game where
made some bangers.
One, just gorgeous. This game probably has the prettiest board of any board ever.
Really freaking cool.
Gorgeous game. But this is a deck building game / a little bit of worker placement where you're essentially like exploring stuff, getting points. But this is it's kind of hard to describe unless you have it in front of you.
Game, really. There's so many things that they all give you points.
Yeah, and you're getting new cards, you're buying new cards, and those cards you'll get, and they do more actions, they do more stuff. But the point of this game, in my opinion, this is the kind of game that Paladins of the West Kingdom does this a lot too, and a lot of other games where it's like, it's just about trying to extend your round as long as possible.
Yeah.
Basically, you're like, okay, I have this and this. Okay, I'm going to get this because that's going to allow me to now do this on my next turn. Then I'm going to do this, and that's going to allow me to do this when I say. You're basically just trying to keep going. Just keep going. Keep going. Until you find like, okay, there's nothing else I can do. And then you pass and end your round. And next round, same thing. You're like, okay, how far can I go? Can I get... Oh, I can go here and get a couple more coins. I can buy one more card. Okay, then boom. And you're basically just trying to extend your thing. And you're trying to like explore stuff. You're like fighting these cool guardians. You're making your way up these tracks. Whole bunch of different places you get points. I'm not going to explain it.
Things you can do.
But it's so much fun because I like games because it kind of falls into that combo-y thing. Well, I'm going to do this, which is going to give me a combo. But in this case, it's going to do this, which is going to give me this, which allows me to extend my turn. Extend my turn. Yeah. I love that kind of thing.
It's very satisfying if you can find that rhythm with it. And like, I'm going to get this, which gives me that, which gives me over here, which gives me this, which gives me that. I mean, and you can... If you're doing it well, you can do that for a long time.
It's incredible. I'm guaranteeing it'll be higher next time. Again, unless something happens, I start hating it for some reason.
Yeah.
But we just haven't played enough for it to be higher. But I mean, it's already this high, and it's brand new. I loved it. As of right now, probably spoilers, but it's probably my favorite game of the year.
Okay.
Probably.
Well, we'll have to find out. That's awesome. My number 61, the end of this list, is a 2-player game, which I imagine is not on your list. It is Targi. Don't know. Maybe the spoiler alert if it is. But Targi is a great 2-player game two-player worker placement game that uses something that we really would like to see happen a little more in games. It randomly does in Gem Hands, speaking of, where you have a border of cards with 9 cards in the middle. And what you're going to be doing is on your turn, you're going to be placing one of your workers going back and forth on one of the border cards. Now, I can't place my figures opposite of Nick's. And so there's ways you kind of get blocked out. So it's very tactical. And then once you have all your workers out, you're going to look at the intersections of those workers and place tribe figures or markers in the middle 9 cards. And then when it's your turn, you're going to activate every card where you have something in whatever order you like to get resources and ultimately play tribe cards into a little tableau, which will be your main avenue for points. So it's a really cool idea of a game because it works great for 2 players because it's so tactical, because it's so much about, I'm going to go here because I know Nick's going for this. Now, he can't go to that spot over there, so I'm going to mess with him here. And then he's going to do this and counters like, oh man, I really need some pepper. Okay, I'm going to go over here because I can make an intersection. I can get pepper over here. It's very tactical and fun, but ultimately simple because it's usually like get some resources, turn those into a card, get a card, do this thing to get some more resources, and then you can do this and move these things around. It's just super solid. This is a solid game. And the fact that it's 2 players in a nice small box, and really interesting with the way you make those intersections for your tribe markers, and then get to activate like 5 things on a turn is really cool. So Targi's my 61. It's the end of this section.
Yeah, that's it. 60. The 60s are done. All righty. So thank you so much for being here. We joke that we are sponsored by Colt. I mean, we kind of are, but
it's not that we joke that we are sponsored. We are, but the fact that we're sponsored is a joke.
Yes, that's a good point. But we really are, as we've been saying, sponsored by our patrons. Thank you so much to people who supports us on Patreon, or everyone who's gone to check out our Patreon at least. We really, really appreciate it. It's, people are supporting us when they don't really have to, and it's, there's no obligation to or anything like that. And that's very, very, it makes us feel very good. And so thank you so much to all the people who support us, and everyone who watches this. Thank you as well. Like, this is our job, and that's real cool, And so thank you for being
help
here.
Us have a career.
Yeah.
Which is
wild.
bonkers.
If you've been following along, making your top 100 along with us, make sure to put down your 10, your 70 to 61 down in the comments below.
Give me them.
Give me them.
Let us know if Gingerbread House is your 63 as well.
Probably should be. And while you're down there, make sure to subscribe and follow and do all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike.
That's going to be it. We're the Brothers Murph. We'll see you later.
Bye. You ever just dribble on yourself because you're having so much fun drinking your water? That happened. Thank you so much for watching another segment of our top 100 games of all times. If you want to see the segment prior to this one, click up here. If you're watching this in the future, there will be a segment, the next segment of this top 100 right down there, so you can just keep watching one after the other. Binge this bad boy right there. And don't forget to subscribe so that if this video isn't here yet, you get a notification for when it does go live.
Truth.